volverá. Triste pena, ya déjalo ya.
A teenager is facing criminal charges after police say she held up her mother at gunpoint.
Veteran officers say they've never heard of a case like this before. KOAT Action 7 News reporter Alana Grimstad joins us from Taos with what happened and what the mother has to say about it. It's a story you'll see only on 7.
The suspect in this bizarre and violent case is a 15-year-old girl, and investigators say the victim is her mother.
It took me by surprise.
It was 3 o'clock in the morning when a Taos County woman called 911, telling officials her 15-year-old daughter ran away from a teen crisis rehab center.
I would say there's some deep-rooted problems there.
Picked up a couple friends.
Really sad.
And then robbed the mother at gunpoint.
Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. And to do that to your own mom.
The woman told sheriff's deputies her daughter and friends stole her car keys and wallet.
Because if they're willing to take these kinds of chances with their own parents, with people that they know and love, what's to keep them from encountering one of us as citizens?
Police say they took off to Boulder, Colorado, because one of the other kids' mom lives there. That mother called her attorney for advice, and the attorney then called police.
Something is going on with her upbringing that she just decides that's acceptable.
The teens were immediately arrested.
She's in for a world of trouble.
If you're having problems with the kids, seek help before it gets to this level.
Deputies say the teens will be brought here to the Taos County Detention Center on Friday, where they will be facing felony charges, including aggravated battery, stealing a car, and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Reporting in Taos, Alana Grimstad, KOAT Action 7 News.
Sheriff's deputies don't know where the teens got the gun or if it's been found. The suspect's mother, also the victim, wouldn't comment on the investigation, but would only say psychiatric issues are involved.
Well, you know, that's part of this mental health crisis we're having as far as this school shootings and what we're doing in Austin, Texas, and what I brought you the last show, and the state representative not acknowledging where this crisis is coming from. And we can't get these people to look at what we're trying to say as far as our prosperity or even our community safety. And we're listening to the mayor and the rest of these people talk about what they want to talk about, and I get to the point of matter. But yet they want to start funding homelessness. They want to, I don't know, with a haven for hope, you know, where they have these people coming out or even these people re-entering our society, not functional. And we're having this crisis as far as a mental health crisis, but nobody can say it because it's what they did to the children. Let me let you watch this.
An accused killer, now 16 years old, has been certified to stand trial as an adult. Raul Cervera was just 15 at the time he allegedly shot a man to death during a botched drug deal. Paul Venema in court as the judge set his bail at $750,000 and ordered the teenager transferred to the Bexar County Jail.
He was here to sell marijuana. Instead, 20-year-old Abram Garcia was shot and killed last fall. According to the lead detective, the suspected killer was Raul Cervera, who was just 15 years old at the time. He allegedly shot and killed Garcia as part of a robbery scheme, the detective testified.
He asked for the weed. He asked to give, he said, give me all of it. And he shot him.
Duke was the state's first witness during the hearing. He testified that Garcia's girlfriend rushed him from the scene in her car, then stopped at a motel on Laredo Street and called EMS. When they arrived, Garcia was dead. Cervera's probation officer testified that he has had behavioral violations while in juvenile custody since the murder. His recommendation, transfer the case to the adult system. A forensic psychologist testifying for the defense said that the teen had a troubled childhood.
He was then exposed to, I would say, some pretty intense domestic violence.
That exposure, he testified, generated significant mitigation factors for the judge to consider. Dr. Fabian described the teen as a damaged kid. Damage the result of exposure to violence, drugs, and abuse. A damaged kid now facing serious criminal charges. Paul Venema, KSAT 12 News.
New at 6, a 17-year-old man arrested today for his alleged involvement in a bank robbery on the northeast side last month. San Antonio police say Malik Bouye and a second suspect hit up the Chase Bank on Nacogdoches near O'Connor. At the time of his arrest, Bouye was wearing a wig. Police say his mother was trying to help him escape. She was also arrested. Police still searching for the second suspect in this bank robbery case.
So when they do this and then they want to cover it up, you know, we need, as citizens, really need to start hearing our voices. And, you know, I'm asking the mayor and this candidate for mayor, Nuremberg and Brockhouse, to come to the west side and let's have a debate on this mental health problem that we're having in our society. Let's not keep having leaders want to talk about each other. I mean, I got the mayor's wife is saying some things. I'm telling you, how these people are leaders and they're letting their wives go after what this domestic violence or even what this, you know, we don't call it domestic violence, we call it mental health. Even the officers that have a psych problem. If they have this problem, don't you think we need to help them? And that's what we tried to do when we had tried to work with, there was an officer that tried to create a stabilization center there at the commissioner's court, but they wouldn't do it because it sort of went back to what he was saying and identifying as the work he did at the mental health unit at the county jail when he ran for sheriff against Parmelo. And I wish he was still running. I hope he does try to find a way to bring peace back to our society. As you would think about the candidates, because they're talking about police officers and more funding for police officers, when we told them 3 or 4 years ago, when Obama gave them $75 million for police brutality. And it wasn't police brutality, it was more of this.
Arrest tonight in the murder of a 17-year-old San Antonio girl who was shot to death last week while leaving a party with friends. San Antonio police arresting the suspect they say shot and killed Amanda Acosta last Monday.
The Night Team's Tim Gerber live at Public Safety Headquarters. Tim, I understand this arrest coming on what would have been the victim's birthday.
That's right, Steve. Today would have been Amanda Acosta's 18th birthday. Detectives giving her friends and family a gift in the form of her alleged killer in handcuffs tonight, facing murder charges.
So I'm innocent, man.
Why do you say you're innocent, man?
I'm innocent because they got the wrong guy, bro. I'm innocent.
18-year-old Julian Martinez denying he had anything to do with the death of Amanda Acosta last Monday tonight as he was led away in handcuffs. According to police, Acosta and friends were attending a party on the city's west side when one of Acosta's friends allegedly got into a fight with Martinez, and the group then decided to leave the party. As they left, though, police say they were followed by Martinez, who then fired shots at the car near the intersection of Nogalitos and Cavalier. Acosta in the back seat of the car, struck by those bullets. She was rushed to a hospital where she later died. Investigators say when people at the party learned of her death on the news, several of those witnesses began contacting police to share information that ultimately led them to Martinez as their main suspect. Police hope Acosta's family can find some comfort tonight in knowing her alleged killer has been caught.
Amanda Acosta, today is her birthday. She would have been 18 years old. This is a very sad case. She's very young. And instead of celebrating her birthday today, unfortunately her family members are enveloped with the sense of that they're never going to see their loved one again. But we hope that we bring them some sort of peace with the arrest of Mr. Martinez.
And Martinez, again, repeatedly denying tonight that he had anything to do with Acosta's murder. He'll have to take that up with the courts now as he moves through that process. He is facing 1 count of murder. Investigators still working this case to see if anyone else will face any charges. We're live at Public Safety Headquarters tonight. Tim Gerber, KSAT 12 News.
First, our top story tonight, a 17-year-old boy murdered just days before he's expected to become a father.
Tonight, we're hearing from the victim's girlfriend, who plans to give birth in just 2 days.
Things happen for a reason, and as long as our baby's still here, he's still here.
And tonight, brand new revelations in this murder investigation. One suspect was arrested last night. Another is on the run.
Eyewitness News reporter Henry Ramos joins us in studio. And Henry, what are we learning about these suspects?
Jeff and Deborah, according to this warrant here, the two suspects are cousins. Tonight, police are still looking for Salvador Garcia Godinez. After the murder, the 17-year-old reportedly told family he wanted to escape to Mexico. Meanwhile, the victim's family is trying to hold strong.
A soon-to-be father touching his unborn son.
Like, it doesn't seem real that this happened and that he's gone.
This picture was taken before Christian Jimenez Santos' final moments.
I know he wants me to be strong for our son. So that's what I'm going to do.
Leda Perez will give birth to Javen Christian in 2 days. She will now raise him without a dad.
Whatever the motive was, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth his life.
On December 5th, police say Jimenez Santos was arguing with 17-year-old Juan Carlos Garcia and Garcia Godinez over drugs and money. Garcia Godinez reportedly told his sister he was beating Jimenez Santos with a bat. Moments later, he was shot in the head. He died several days later in the hospital.
He didn't have to do that to Christian. Because he didn't just hurt Christian, he hurt a lot of us.
According to the warrant, Garcia Godinez says they were going to bury Jimenez Santos in the backyard, but couldn't because witnesses saw the shooting. The warrant states police found a freshly dug shallow grave in the backyard of a home on Vermont Street near Division Avenue. The Jimenez Santos family is now raising money to pay medical bills and give the young teen a proper burial.
I know he's watching over all of us and he wants us to be strong for him.
The warrant also states Garcia Godinez, a Mexican citizen living in the U.S., confessed to family he and his cousin committed the murder. Police ask if you know of his whereabouts or anything about the case to contact the homicide unit. Henry Ramos, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
And now that you've watched that, as far as these people killing each other, it's shocking in our society today. And if we don't try to get to where we speak to our leaders, I told you Menendez's number is 512-463-0126. Our city is the most violent city in America. I think I brought you that a couple of years ago. 2016, we had the highest increase per capita in homicides. But nobody wants to put their finger on it. So we're going to start putting our finger on it as to why these kids, every day, almost every day, we're having this violence. I mean, we just came back from young man Kendrick Castillo to try to stop those kids in the shooting in Colorado, and then we get back, there's a shooting over there in Mesquite, Texas. But we have the leadership and the legislation, because they've done this as a process, not wanting to acknowledge why this kid, or let me let you watch.
New this morning, a group of teens managed to escape from a juvenile center on the north side in the middle of the night.
Charlie Cooper joins us from the Hector Garza Residential Treatment Center. And Charlie, do police know how these kids were able to get out in the first place?
Yeah, actually around 11:30 last night, they say that things got really hectic here at the Hector Garza Center. In fact, this is a center where a lot of teens will come as an alternative for jail. And so police say that yesterday, apparently a fight broke out. Only moments after that fight broke out, somebody set a fire and the alarm went off. And so this fight got even bigger and bigger. And at that same time, about 8 of the teenagers who stay here were able to escape. I am told that this is an open facility, so it may have been pretty easy for them to run off. They crossed 281 and 6 of them have been captured since then, but police are still trying to find the last 2 of those teenagers. Now, police tell me this is an ongoing issue here at the residential center, and so for them, they've had to respond to issues here before. Back to you.
And you're seeing all these kids go through this. And maybe San Antonio could be a model of I don't know how you can model something that needs to be eradicated. If it's a for-profit process or why in society, this is keeping us, what they say, safe. You know, it wasn't safe. 2009, when I made a promise to wear the armor to eradicate this, how do you take a person's mind and destroy it? And this isn't just partial, this is for life. I mean, I got case studies from universities One company, Eli Lilly, makes a drug called Prozac. I think I talked 3 or 4 years ago, I brought you this. It makes a mouse eat its hands off. And we're not just giving this to veterans, we're giving this to kids. But when you have those centers out here, or treatment centers, or juvenile facilities, or whatever it is, as to where we ask them back at the finance hearing, that's why I asked you to call Senator Nelson. She was the one that brought this mental health bill up into this session, but 2017, there at the finance hearings, the judges were there, David Riley was there. He's running out the back door from he's the head over there, the commissioner, similar to what they did to the foster care, same thing, running out the back door instead of helping us get a resolve here on how we stabilize what's happening in our society. I mean, this is going to be very, very crucial, and we need that model here in San Antonio. We're pushing forward. We went to the constables. We asked them to meet with our coalition and our collaboration as to the equities of our society's safety here. I mean, when you start getting to where the infrastructure set up to where, I don't know how high all this is coming from as far as this mental health problem here. And the kids coming out with not a resource as far as trying to stabilize this, and what we talked to Tommy Kelver, Jarvis Anderson, all of them. When we went to the reentry program, can you look at our model and accept that there's a damage that's done? Let me let you watch this.
Jeff Duncan, his story had a different ending. This past spring, I spoke with Jeff Duncan on the phone. I've been trying to get prison guards to open up to me for a long time, but most of them are worried about their jobs and won't talk. Jeff wanted his story told. He explained what he was going through and how his job had changed him.
And he told me I have to make friends with the new me, and I don't like the new me.
He was an asshole. He was abusive. Yeah, he had changed a lot. We couldn't do the things that we had done. Nothing brought him happiness.
One Sunday this spring, Jeff Duncan took his own life. He's one of 8 correctional officers who've committed suicide across Canada in the last year.
I sit in his chair every night and just stare at him, I guess.
What do you think about?
That I wish he was strong enough to have stayed and fought this battle.
The last thing Jeff did was scribble this note on a whiteboard in the garage.
We are all dealt a hand of cards. Not all hands are winners. Some people don't know the game, and some, well, the stakes get too high and fold. Last play. I hope that his death's not in vain. I want things to change. I want to be able to honor him.
There's something that Jeff Duncan said to me when we spoke on the phone in the spring that stuck with me. He said, "People don't want to know what goes on inside our prisons. It seems like it might be time we took a closer look." Nick Purdon, CBC News, near Sylvan Lake, Alberta.
This is part of the damage, and we're having this and not getting any resources of this post-traumatic stress disorder, and the remedy that they're using. And I think this guy's paying himself $480,000 with the contract he has with our county. And what's happening to these people that fill in the Haven for Hope, they're all zombies. They're not functional. They keep sending them over there to this mental health unit. When did this become part of our society's process? So looking at what was her name? This is Vela. I think I brought you that, and what they're doing with the constable. Now we've got the DA. Let me let you
First reported at 5 p.m., the Bexar County District Attorney's Office closing the case, throwing out the charges against a Precinct 2 Bexar County Deputy Constable. Bexar County Precinct 2 Constable Michelle Barrientos Vela filed that now rejected charge against Leonicio Moreno, accusing him of aggravated perjury for falsifying documents. This after he's made numerous accusations of wrongdoing against her. Barrientos Vela, those charges include claims of sexual harassment. Devin Clark with what the constable had to say about the back and forth accusations.
I hold all officers accountable for their actions.
Precinct 2 Constable Michelle Barrientos Vela and her administration alleged that Deputy Constable Leonicio Moreno filed false reports with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, the federal agency that enforces civil rights laws against workplace discrimination.
These documents were sworn by Mr. Moreno under oath, which they were also notarized, under oath, that everything was true and correct to the best of his knowledge.
Moreno was charged with aggravated perjury yesterday, but the charge was rejected by the DA's office today for lack of evidence. Moreno said he was targeted in retaliation for running against Barrientos Vela for her position in the upcoming 2020 election. Barrientos Vela denies the claim, but the extent of their tumultuous relationship runs much deeper.
Were you all ever in a hot tub together at all?
No, sir. No, I was not in a hot tub.
KSAT defenders previously reported that Moreno filed a lawsuit against the constable, alleging she made sexual advances at him in a hot tub and called him her husband during a work trip in Galveston back in 2017.
I have one husband that I've been married to for 25 years, who I'm actually happily married with him.
In 2018, we reported that Moreno was fired after allegedly logging unapproved training hours.
He reported several law enforcement courses and several courses that were non-law enforcement courses to obtain hours and credit, again, for a pay increase.
Moreno's termination was later overturned, but he was demoted. Today, the constable insisting that none of their discord has anything to do with the perjury charge she filed yesterday.
And Moreno was released from jail after posting a $10,000 bail early this morning. Reporting in the newsroom, Devin Clark, KSAT 12 News.
The Bexar County District Attorney's Office sending us a statement about the rejected charges, saying, quote, based on the information available to the DA's office at this time, there is not sufficient evidence to proceed on an aggravated perjury case against Deputy Moreno, end quote. The DA's office will reconsider prosecution if sufficient evidence is presented at a later date.
How is he not acknowledging the matters of fact? You know, this is the same authority that we went through the whole of them. Instead of looking at our community safety, looking at what is happening in our city here. And I told you last year, when I gave him that money, the $50 million for the new center, $22 million police brutality, who's doing this? And then you hear both of these candidates right now today not saying one word about this. Not one word in our city is being referenced to as to our community safety. Brockhouse, he wants more police. You need to find a way to help the officers as to what we said back, I think it was almost 2014, because President Obama gave $75 million for police brutality. They give him $22 million here. I think it was that new city manager. It was his deal, that's Welsh guy, on inciting violence in our city. And if we don't come to what's happening right now, is happening in our city. I'm going to head back to Austin, but there needs to be some action here, and I'm asking the citizens to call these people. Call your representative and ask, why are we drugging American children? Where is it prosperous? Because this is what happens. And I'm going to let you know, that flash mob is happening all over the United States. This isn't just here. This is all over the United States. I have those reports. I have those statistics. I'm asking the president, our tribes are asking the president to meet with us to stabilize this. If we don't create a stabilization center for this mental health crisis, and it is a mental health crisis, and it's caused. That's what this judge said. You're making members not functional for our society. Who's not? All you got to do is ask them, who's doing this to children? Why is it that you would do this to American children? We were there at the Giddings State School, and we asked him, we went to Senator John Whitmire, you can call him, 512-463-0115. I think 0115 or 0118, but call him and ask him, are we putting American children to control them on psychotropic drugs? I'm not lying to you. I'm hoping you hear my prayer. And as I had said back in 2009 when they did this to my son, he came out rolling like that and just had no control of himself, that my promise is to eradicate this. So there's a lot of people that needs to uphold their duties here, and that's our leaders. So you call these people and you tell them, we want a town hall on the mental health crisis on the west side. You go down South Zamora to see these zombies sleeping and living on the streets of San Antonio. And they want to say they want to invest in this instead of getting to the matters. Please, call the mayor.
Yo sé que un día volverá. Triste pena, ya déjalo ya. Yo sé que un día volverá.